There's a TTC Nova bus, route 20 Cliffside, heading to Main Street subway station. So I'm at the intersection Danforth Avenue and Pharmacy Avenue in Toronto, and this intersection has leading pedestrian intervals. Southbound has one, which I'm supportive with the southbound leading pedestrian interval here because you can't go straight. Pharmacy Avenue ends, you have to turn. And Danforth Avenue, eastbound and westbound, has an adaptive leading pedestrian interval, but you actually won't see it on most of the time. Eastbound does have a callable and extendable protected permissive left turn phase, at least. So if the eastbound left turn green arrow comes on, then it actually omits the leading pedestrian interval in both directions for Danforth. So and as for awesome nickel air conditions. And as for the detection zone here, they actually recently relocated it from where the third car stops to where the first car stops, making it much easier to call the eastbound green arrow and to stop the leading pedestrian interval from coming on. The detection zone used to be right, you can still see the markings for it actually. It used to be right over here. I don't know if you can see the markings or the wire markings. It used to be over there, and they relocated it to where the stop line is, where the first car would stop, because where it used to be would require blocking the intersection, and they don't want people to have to block the intersection in order to trigger the green arrow for left turns. So here we're going to see a cycle of what happens when there's no left turn call for eastbound. If there's no left turn call, then the leading pedestrian interval comes on for Danforth Avenue like that, which pretty much most of the time is useless because either there's no pedestrians crossing or there's not usually anyone turning within the leading pedestrian interval time frame. Where's the chat? Show me the chat. This actually caught me off guard when I was watching another video and saw you streaming. Which intersection are you referring to? So I was live at a bunch of intersections. I'm not going to be live as long as I usually am because I'm going to be checking a bunch of other intersections today. This intersection is also semi-actuated pedestrian. This one, okay. Interesting. So this intersection actually operates as semi-actuated pedestrian, which means if there's no drivers or pedestrians waiting on Pharmacy Avenue, then it actually goes back to walk for Danforth and stays green. If there's a vehicle call and no pedestrians, then it still calls the pedestrian walk. That's semi-actuated pedestrian basically, where a vehicle and the pedestrian will call both the vehicle and pedestrian walk signal. There's nobody in the left turn lane this time, so the leading pedestrian interval will trigger for Danforth Avenue. Again, there's nobody turning right now, so it's pretty much useless right now at this time of day. Well, at this time of the cycle. If the left turn call doesn't come on, then it also increases the green time. That additional time also gets transferred to westbound through traffic. So now I want to get a video of the cycle when there is a left turn call. So there's a vehicle call, so it's gonna do the green light. Again, the button is not pushed. I didn't push the button, of course. Of course, drivers are not liking the leading pedestrian interval, which I don't blame them because there were no pedestrians crossing. but that's semi-actuated pedestrian mode of control. So there's nobody in the left turn lane this cycle, so the leading pedestrian interval will come on this cycle. Again, nobody's turning right or left for the conflicting crosswalk, so it's pretty much useless. Even the pedestrian didn't seem to notice the LPI because he didn't cross until the vehicle signal turns green. Yeah, nobody's turning into the crosswalks. Still nobody in the left turn lane for eastbound. I'm still hoping to find a cycle where there's nobody waiting on Pharmacy though. At least it helps increase the green time for westbound oncoming traffic. We got a fast pedaling cyclist. Is he gonna wait? He actually is going to wait, so I'm surprised, but in a good way. So now it's green for Pharmacy. We have somebody in the left turn lane this time, so we're gonna see a cycle with an eastbound left turn call. Again, the detection zone was relocated. The detection zone used to be where that pickup truck is stopped, but they relocated it to where the red car is stopped because it would require blocking the intersection to trigger the green arrow. So if there is a left turn call, then the leading pedestrian interval stops and omits in both directions. So there's no LPI for anyone in Danforth this cycle for when there's a left turn call. There we go. The eastbound's left turn green arrow is extendable. I think the maximum green arrow time varies based on the time of day. Right now it's a Sunday, so it's not that much extendable, but it's like maybe 5 seconds or 4 seconds extendable for the maximum green arrow time, aside from the minimum. I think the maximum green arrow time can be a little longer on weekdays though, but I haven't actually determined that yet or used my stopwatch for that. So now, Pharmacy turn. No pedestrians crossing this cycle. Come on, have someone turn left. There we go. So now we're gonna see another cycle with a left turn call. No leading pedestrian interval for Danforth this cycle. Most of the time there is a call from the left turn lane. Are they gonna cross? No, they're actually not gonna cross. Very surprised. Well, we don't know that. Or is the LPI going to? Most pedestrians here start crossing on the flashing hand at this intersection. I'm very surprised that those guys didn't. Before I started recording, there were a few cycles where that was a problem. Okay, there's one car in the left turn lane. gonna check the chat. I haven't checked it since. No new messages. Okay. Okay, so countdown's at 10, but I don't see any vehicles approaching. We might be able to see. Is there a pedestrian call? Okay, not here. Out the far side. Nope, I don't see one. Okay, good. So we get to see it go back to walk for Danforth Avenue. If there's no vehicles or pedestrians waiting on Pharmacy, then the green light for Pharmacy gets skipped and it actually goes right back to walk for Danforth. This is really good for westbound through traffic because westbound through traffic gets real heavy, as you can see. Yeah, that green sign is really well used by westbound through traffic and eastbound left turns. And there's the route 113 Nova bus, route Danforth, going to Main Street subway station. The route 113 and route 20 TTC bus serves this bus stop along here. If the TTC bus stop was far side though, after the lights, like right there, then the TTC bus would have been able to make the green light though. This is a good, well-used LPI this cycle. No call from the left turn lane. Again, pretty much useless since there was nobody turning within the leading pedestrian interval time frame of the first 5 seconds. There's a vehicle call, but no pedestrians this cycle. We do have someone in the left turn lane this cycle though, so at least we'll get to see the left turn phase trigger this cycle. There's one in the left turn lane. Second one coming? No. Well, yes. No, there's not actually. Again, a really good, well-used leading pedestrian interval here. There's the Route 20 Nova bus, Cliffside. The fact that the detection zone was relocated to where the first car would stop from where the third car is, it makes it much easier to actually trigger the eastbound green arrow and to stop the leading pedestrian interval from coming on. That white car barely made it onto the detection zone in time to trigger the green light for pharmacy. Alright, since the eastbound lanes appear to be empty, I'm gonna get a closer look at where the detection zone used to be. So, the detection zone used to be right about here, where the third car would stop in the left turn lane. That got relocated to where the first car stops because right over here where the old detector was, it would require blocking this intersection. I don't like how people are leaving such little gaps when turning right on red here. In my opinion, southbound that direction should have a no right turn on red sign, but at the same time have a right turn overlap for when the eastbound left turn phase is on. That's just my opinion though, because regularly here I see drivers turning right, doing it in two little gaps, or either in slowing down traffic on Danforth or impeding on traffic flow or just cutting them off. No call from the left turn lane. Again, nobody's turning, so that leading pedestrian interval is pretty much useless. Don't do it. Wait till it's clear. Oh, I'm videotaping the signal timing. I don't think that guy wanted to be on video. He just didn't. He seems okay with it now. He gave me a thumbs up from behind. Most people just don't know that I videotape signal timing. That's all. Are the new authorized signals at King and Portland active? Yes and no. For westbounds, they're all active. For eastbounds, they are all active, but not all signals are unbanked yet. I actually made a community post about it about an hour or two ago, if you haven't checked that out already. The westbound through restriction has been removed, so that means for King and Portland, your unauthorized vehicles are actually now allowed to go straight again. And they replaced the 4-section right turn phasing and the 3-section with a through only arrow. As for As for eastbound, they maintained the through restriction and they maintained the right turn phasing. They added the transit and authorized vehicle signals and the dedicated bicycle signals for eastbound. So now eastbound in King and Portland operates just like the way it does for King and Yonge and King and Church Street, where the eastbound yellow 4-section signal never turns green. It only does the right turn green arrow on red, except from 10 p.m. to 5 a.m. Except this time, though, there's no right turn on red for King Street. So that means right turns would technically be fully protected when the vehicle signal never turns green from 5 a.m. to 10 p.m. I don't know why they kept the bicycle signals bagged, but they're all active technically. Once they unbag all the signals, or what's left to unbag and activate, then I'll go there once I have time to go there and once I know about it. In the meantime, I made a community post about the westbound signals update. It's 2 vehicles in the eastbound left turn lane. We'll get to see the left turn phase trigger this cycle. Don't cross yet. Okay, good, they're wise. They're smart. Someone just drove over an empty water bottle. And that's everyone in the left turn lane. Now it's people driving over the empty water bottle. I wonder where that water bottle came from. It's a slow Toyota driver. CZWP209, that is. Oh, it goes back to walk. Westbound oncoming traffic is really going to need this. If the signals didn't go back to walk, we would have seen the left turn call come on. Okay, the countdown starts. Kind of useless since there's no pedestrians crossing this cycle. I do think, in my opinion, that the leading pedestrian interval for southbound should be callable, because there aren't always pedestrians crossing when there's a vehicle call for pharmacy. I love the LPI, how it's placed, like how there's the way it's very useful when there's pedestrians crossing Danforth. We get to see the eastbound left turn phase come on again. And let's see, the all-red interval. The all-red interval is too long, in my opinion, for eastbound left turns. That woman shouldn't be starting to cross on the flashing hand. At least everyone cleared in time. Let's see, is there going to be someone calling the eastbound left turn phase this cycle? Yes, there is. Awesome. 2 of them. Awesome. We'll get to see the eastbound left turn phase come on again. No LPI this cycle for Danforth, which is a good thing since there's no pedestrians crossing this cycle and that there's no conflicting traffic turning right now. Countdown started. Hey, I was there not long ago. They need to remove that LPI for Danforth. I agree with you. I mean, if any leading interval is needed, they should make it a leading through interval. Sorry, I wasn't really watching the chat that much. Did I miss anything else? What did they do with the north-south 1288 signals at Portland and King? So, Portland Street has actually just been converted to a one-way. The primary direction change is at Adelaide Street. I'll get 3 cars. We're gonna see the leading left turn come on again and the LPI omit. So for King and Portland, like I was saying, they installed a new bi-directional protected bikeway on Portland streets, which is, in my opinion, a really good side road to have it on, to keep it on secondary roads. They made Portland Street a one-way. From Adelaide Street to Queen Street, it's a one-way northbound. And from Adelaide Street to Wellington Street, Portland is a one-way southbound. So at King Street, they made Portland Street a one-way southbound. So what they did was they installed dedicated bicycle signals for northbound and southbound. They maintained the 1288 signals for southbound, but they removed all the yellow vehicle signals for northbound. And then south of Wellington Street, they maintained two-way traffic for residential and building access reasons. And then once you cross the train tracks at which it becomes Dan Lackey Way, they maintained two-way traffic for the whole stretch. Again, once all the signals are active and the bikeway construction is complete, then I'm going to make a video about it, of like a review of just like the overall design, how it all looks, the signal phasing, what I like about it, what I think should be added, removed, or what needs improvement. I don't think leading through interval is necessary here, honestly. Most cycles, any leading interval has been useless. I mean, when there wasn't a call from the left turn lane, that means there was nobody turning left, and there wasn't, since most cycles, if not all, from when I was here, there wasn't anyone turning into the conflicting crosswalk. So yeah, making any leading interval is pretty much useless here when there isn't a call from the left turn lane. That guy looks like the signals with his yellow shirt. I probably read this too late to realize, but I can always look back at the thing. Signal unboxing and review with Jackson. I don't know what's being unboxed here. I don't have anything to unbox. I don't even have any pockets in my shorts, so whatever I have with me, I have to be holding the whole time, including my car keys, my phone. Message retract. I've never seen that before, but we do have a left turn call at least. Alright, so the signal's currently red at Danforth and Victoria Park, but there is some traffic coming from Victoria Park. Are the southbound signals Econolite, Duralite? At this intersection right here, Pharmacy and Danforth Avenue, no, they're not. I am going to actually take this light to cross to get a look. I'm going to turn on the audio. No one turning right, 2 cars turning left. I'm referring that to Pharmacy and Danforth. So, no, there aren't. They're both either Fortran or TCT. This used to be an Econolite, and that used to be I don't know what it's called, but the old metal-like signals. Before the 4th section was added, there used to be 2 Econolite 1288 signal heads. That was before reflective backboards were added. I believe, yeah, the same arms were used for the eastbound. The same arms that you're seeing for the westbound approach was used for the eastbound approach before that 4th section was added. I don't know for sure, but I believe the 4 sections when they were first added were TCT. They look like they're Fortran to me now, though. In fact, wait, I think I'm gonna cross back because I think every single signal head here, every signal head I think is a Fortran here actually. Well, at least the vehicle signals. So we're gonna cross back now. There's no one turning right again. There's 2 cars in the left turn lane eastbound, so we'll get to see the left turn phase come on again. That water bottle's still there. There's the left turn phase. Leading pedestrian area omits in both directions. Alright, I'm gonna read the chat. Same. Gentral says, I wish the old cast signals were still here. What ones? I don't know. As many as possible. Bye, Good Night Greenhouse Studios. Thank you for tuning in and watching. You have a good day too, Good Night Greenhouse Studios. I'll see you later today. Not much eastbound incoming traffic right now. Ooh, someone comes from the driveway. You don't see that driveway used very often. The driveway's unsignalized, so theoretically it doesn't really count towards traffic signal detection. We do have another vehicle in the eastbound left turn lane at least, so we'll get to see the left turn phase come on. At least it's going to save eastbound traffic the 5 seconds of waiting for that LPI, which would be useless right now because there's no pedestrians crossing. Just that 1 car turning, from what it looks like. Kia looks like he's smart to turn to the right lane. The only thing is there's cars parked on the right. I'm seeing a lot of drive school vehicles out here in this intersection that turn left here today. I don't usually see that many drive school vehicles at an intersection. Let's see, will there be any eastbound vehicles approaching? They have 12 seconds to trigger the green arrow. I don't think anyone's going to be triggering the green arrow this cycle. Again, there are no pedestrians crossing, so I don't like that the LPI comes on, especially when there's nobody turning into the conflicting crosswalks. At least during the LPI time frame. I like the southbound leading pedestrian interval because drivers have to turn. The only thing I think they should do is just make it callable by pedestrians, that's all. I'm going to trigger the audio this time. I'm going to I don't know, maybe it's retracted. Alright, I would stay here longer, but I have some other intersections that I'm gonna be checking today, so I'm gonna end the stream now. But I want to thank you everyone so much for watching. I'm just parked up the street here. Again, thank you so much for watching. Once the live stream finishes uploading, it'll become publicly visible. And I'll see you soon, I guess. Bye.